There's this guy in our neighborhood who deals drugs, and honestly, it seems like he's got nothing left to lose. When people ask him why he does this, he gives the same answer. He just wants to live for the moment. In his world, people live for right now. By doing this, he has been able to give his family things he could never afford with a regular 9-to-5 job. They are happier and, well, yeah, he knows there's a real chance he ends up in jail or even worse. But it makes you wonder, why do poor people make bad decisions like this? Is it all about the environment they grow up in, or is there other factors involved? Why would someone choose a life where there is a risk of losing everything, even your life? Every year, around 7% of people involved in drug gangs are killed. This is a higher death rate than soldiers in the wars of Iraq and Afghanistan. Welcome to the Broken Ladder Project, where we dive deeply into different aspects of inequality based on the original book. Before getting started, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Human Egg YouTube channel for more content on social and economic issues. Now let's go for Chapter 3. Why do poor people make bad decisions? When we think about the causes and effects behind this question, many ideas come to our mind, from laziness and individual personality traits to even lower intelligence. Some of us might also consider the environmental factors. We might believe that poverty itself leads to personality problems and further issues. In fact, the outcome of a poor environment is poverty, just as a lack of resources leads to lack of opportunities. So we can categorize our guesses into two main groups: personal deficiency versus poor environment. I mean nurture versus nature. However, those who fall into either group often forget that nurture and nature always work together. We possess a set of predispositions to react to environmental changes, and we have some patterns to do so. We need to examine how human nature works in response to both impoverished and affluent environments. This is where, once again, inequality becomes an important factor. Inequality changes our whole personality. The behaviors and reactions of someone who lives in an unequal society are totally different from someone who lives in a fair one. When life is good and future feels secure, we tend to live healthier and longer. We can make long-term plans and we raise our children more carefully. But when times are tough and future seems uncertain, we tend to live that we might not have enough time to reproduce later, so we do it now and more often. This is called the fast life strategy. Live fast, die young. Girls who grow up in poor and dangerous neighborhoods tend to reach puberty sooner, and this means they become fertile sooner. Studies show that early puberty and fast reproduction are closely linked to lower life expectancy. The live fast, die young theory very good explains why poor people or people who are trapped by their circumstances focus so much on the present moment and often ignore the future. If you skip your daily latte and just save $3 a day, you will have over $1,000 by the end of the year. So why don't you do it? How much do you really want that extra $1,000 by the end of the year? And how much do you really want that warm, delicious latte right now? It's just a tiny everyday choice, but it totally changes your money game. As inequality has grown over time, the odds of success have tilted in favor of those who are in top. The wealth of the top 1% of the society is growing at a pace you can't simply compare to the other classes of the society. Interestingly, One study looked at Google searches for high-risk terms across US states. The results were shocking. The higher inequality income was in a state, the more people search for high-risk behavior terms on Google. An average person's decisions are deeply related to their positions on the social ladder. I mean, their circumstances determine how they react to the world and how they make everyday decisions. Eventually, when you talk to people who are just making one bad decision after another just to get by, you hear the same line: "I've got nothing left to lose, so I'll just do whatever I want." So that's a wrap for this episode. In the third episode of the Broken Ladder Project, we discussed how poverty and inequality shape our everyday decisions. We also discussed how poor people make one bad decision after another. Join us next week for episode 4, where we'll dive deeply into how inequality shapes our entire worldview and our ideologies. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to Human Egg channel. See you soon next week. Bye for now.